My bet into BBAI and RGTI has really paid off. Both stocks up almost 40% in the short time. Today I will give you two stocks which I think will do very well.
It's trading tips with Jim.
You're listening to the StockInvest.us podcast, Trading Tips with Jim, and of course I am Jim. I hope you liked the jingle, but more importantly, what is expected of the week ahead. It is still Friday, but last week I told you I thought Nasdaq would go up. Nasdaq is so far up 0.60% this week, and everything indicates that Nasdaq will end also the Friday in green. So the bet on the green week was very correct, and my bets into RGTI and BBAI turned out exceptionally good, and I have a feeling it will continue. Before revealing two candidates, which I think will do very good, same candidate structure like Big Bear, RGTI, same arguments why. Let's have a quick look at the week ahead of us. And in the week ahead of us, it will be Wednesday, which will be the big day where Fed will give their rate decision. It is not so much about the decision itself, but it is about the tune of what we can expect moving forward. Will Fed be a little more dovish, meaning that they will indicate further rate cuts, or will they say that markets are or the economy is still too strong, being a little hawkish? Whatever they decide will affect the market somehow. But if we look at the index, and you should do that, you will see that Nasdaq is in an exceptionally good shape. Right now it's bouncing up from a lower RSI on the long-term in the long-term chart. Chart should be posted on the YouTube video so you can see what I say. Buy signals is again issued from short-term moving average. There is underlying buy signals from the long-term moving average. The trends and everything are super. A few things can change this because again it will head to the previous top around 24,000, just under 24,000 points. And this will be a sort of an acid test. Will it break it? Volume has been falling when the markets went down from 24 to 22. You heard it first in this podcast. I predicted that one. Offloaded shares before it happened, bought at the bottom, bought RGTI, bought BBAI at the bottom, and now reaping the benefits from it. Now we are pushing upwards to 24 again. My previous bet was that Nasdaq would reach 25,000 by Christmas. Week 50 is coming up. We are really getting to the end of the year. Volume fell when markets were going down. Absolutely like it. No market is ticking up, but volume is not ticking up. That can be of a slight concern. But overall, given the low relative strength index, given the buy signals not being overbought, I believe Nasdaq will head for yet another green week in next week. Same will go for Dow Jones and S&P 500. By the way, and talking about buy and sell signals, last week they were rising, and they are rising, continue to rise, but far from being problematic. Main market which may start to show some overbought signs is Frankfurt. If you look at across all the tickets that we analyzed, 31% is having buy signals, Nasdaq 17%, New York Stock Exchange 35%, London 35%. And National Stock Exchange of India 15, only Tokyo 31, and Shenzhen China 23. All of these indicates plenty of upside in the market. They are not very high. And what usually happens when they go from low, because if you go 2 podcasts back in week 47, you hear me say that Nasdaq at 7% buy signals is an absolute buy signals. I will buy. And I bought because every time we hit this low, it absolutely triggers good buy situations. Now it is moving up to 17. It's not overbought at all, but usually things starts to pick up. The speed starts to pick up. The growth, upturn growth start to pick up when they reach his numbers like 17 or 30 or something, and only starts to become dangerous around 40. So given this, situations which I see, the chart I see, numbers I see of signals, etc., it's a high chance that we are just pushing upwards and upwards towards Christmas. Other thing that will happen during the week is inflation expectations will come on Monday, mainly what consumer thinks, but inflation is going down. Gasoline prices in the United States is going down, food prices is going down, everything is going down. Energy, as I said, when energy goes down and the cost of energy goes down, everything gets cheaper. Oil still at $59. I hope it will fall further, and I believe it will fall further. I think it will fall down to the 40s. But these low numbers help any economy except those being too heavily invested in oil as income source. Norway being one of these countries. Gold 4,253, staying stubborn above 4,000, but I am out of gold, and I don't think gold has the potential upside like it had. I think it should fall down, and if it falls back, I will get into gold again. But right now, I think gold is in the upper band. 10-year Treasury yield 4.1, and we will see what the Fed says. You've been waiting 6 minutes. Most of you are way too impatient to wait. You just want the buy signals, the stock to buy, and then you are out. That is why you're losing money, and that is why you never ever will be a good trader. Maybe you have been lucky a few times and you call yourself a trader, but eventually you will just lose. And most of you have. That's the reason why you're checking this podcast. Trading, no matter if it's mini trading, a little bit longer trading, or investing, requires patience. You have to have solid fundamentals for whatever you do. You have to follow strategies on the minute. When I refer to volume not being as I would like, for instance, for Nasdaq, this is because volume is one of the absolutely best indicators you can use. Use it to time your trade. It was obvious for Big Bear, it was obvious for Rigetti. It is the one tool that really can help you. So if you're a short-term trader and you want to brag to your friends today that you made X amount of thousands on an option call or whatever, do understand that in most cases you are just lucky. You can check all statistics. 86% of everyone trying is losing money. And as I said, you can have a few lucky ones, but eventually you'll lose. And everyone will lose trades. That is why you use stop loss, cut your losses short. It's such a good thing. There are some other classic things. Everyone thinks that no, you should buy a stock that has fallen a lot. That is a very good opportunity. But sometimes it's better just to buy a stock which is in a rising trend. Being up is not necessarily meaning that it will go down. You have to look behind the stocks, you have to look at potentials, and buying stocks which are in falling trends is a huge gamble which requires a lot more research than that. And you can do it. I love to do it, but I use, for instance, volume to see that I really is close to some sort of bottom, trying to get in early. Anyway, you have been waiting, so I'll give you the first stock. These stocks have the same arguments why I bought Rigetti and BBAI. They have underlying fundamentals going in their directions. Analytics is very positive to them. Our systems, we have special made algorithms looking into this, says the same thing. That the stocks most likely will continue upwards. The first stock is a stock which was falling from around $9.26 down to $6, have been ticking a little bit up, currently at 650. Low on the relative strength index, everyone expecting it to do very good in the future. Evolvo Technologies Holdings, EVLV, is the one stock which I personally might go into. I have to see a little bit how I will do with Big Bear and Rigetti, if I will offload some, because I will not overdo my exposure in the market, but absolutely a stock which I have on my list of stocks that probably will do good. This stock already has turned up from the bottom, giving buy signals from the short-term moving average, still a sell signal from the long-term moving average, but everything indicates that the stock should continue to push upwards. Works in the business of AI-powered weapon detection systems, and we know that is a huge thing. They specialize on schools, stadiums, hospitals, etc., and this will not fade away. It's the business which should be sustainable. It's subscription driven. They have shown strong growth in revenue, expected to continue. The risk is small, but it's a volatile stock. As I said, it went from 9 to 6, which is a huge drop. Huge potential. Ticker was Evolve Technologies Holding, EVLV, a stock I think currently has a low risk if you go into it now, with a huge potential. Our systems believe this stock will double and more over the next 20 months. There are a few other things for the week ahead. We will have job opening numbers on Tuesday. Nothing special expected from these things. And there will be some budget statements on Wednesday, and US Produce Price Index will come for November on Thursday. These will give more insights into the inflation. The expectations are that they will come in more or less as expected, not showing because a few items are up, most items are down, but inflation is still somewhat sticky. It will take time to undo all the things that were done in the previous 5 years. I promise myself not to make this a long podcast, no need to do that, so let's spin further. Very soon revealing the next stock, which I think will do very good. You might be a new listener and you wonder also how has my stock tips went. We have the $1,000 challenge, which I will get back to the end of the podcast, where I started with $1,000, showed you every single thing I did, currently sitting at $3,527. Growing was up at 5,500, a few mistakes, and we are back at 3,527. Other stocks which I said to buy was of course Big Bear, Rigetti, AKRO, which I said was a good buy some weeks back, based on all the things that I said, up 14.41%. And AKRO, for instance, GH, all of them are up. But it's easy when markets are as good as they are. For the long term, I always plan in long terms. For the long term, I want to find a new good buying opportunity. Now I have a quite high exposure in the market again. I always reduce when I think markets are a little bit shaky, when they get close to something, using the buy and sell signals I just gave you a few minutes ago. Now I have a quite high exposure. I probably will ride it when I start to see things getting a little high. I will offload, prepare for what is next. And it's very hard to be exact on the time, but this podcast been for 6 years. I told you about inflation long before it happened. I told you about the interest rate hikes long before they happened. The war in Ukraine, there were very obvious signs. The most obvious long-term sign I see now is that the West, unless we have more problems with UK and France, because they are halting the peace deal for Ukraine, and they can cause a lot of things can still move out of hand. And if it happens, it will most likely be because of UK. We will see. But in general, I think there will, this decade, these 10 years ahead of us will be extremely good for the West. That is what I really think. And based on that, I don't believe gold will have the same upside. Gold should go down and then continue upwards. The reason gold went up, why I bought gold at 1,600 was because of the political climate 5 years ago. It was obvious to anyone where it would lead. And heading into chaos and all sort of things, gold was safe haven. Now I see the opposite. I see a stock market that most likely will push high. AI is changing everything. There will be ups and downs for everything. But in general, I see a decade where US will start, already have started, then Europe will come a little later. They need to do a few changes. here and there, and then things will get back to normal. In general, you can just put it in two ways. US get out of woke earlier, Europe still has a lot of woke, but also getting away from it, and when these things fade away, growth will again rise. But even being 10, I see a decade of solid growth ahead, there will be a downturn. And I believe that downturn will be after Christmas. Hard to say if it will be that we will have growth January, February, but there will come a major downturn, which I plan to use. I don't see it right now, but I will prepare for the time, but again, will do good buys. That downturn will not be as short as the previous. We had a downturn last February that lasted all the way to May, and I see something of the same nature. Then Nasdaq was hitting 20,000, fall all the way to 15,000 before it continued up. I sold before that happened, and I bought when Nasdaq was 15 plus thousand points. So and was for the long upturn, and I think we will see somewhat the same pattern. I will tell you when I see more clear signals, but what I see, as I said, market moving continue upwards, having a fall. It's so hard to see, but there has to be a reason to trigger a sell-off in the market. Most likely it will be a political event, and most likely it will be related again to Ukraine. If Ukraine hammers a peace deal, that downturn may be a slower one, but there should be one where money consolidate. Second stock before we head to the $1,000 challenge and end of the podcast. The second stock is AKRO Technologies, AKRO Technologies. It is a major provider of semiconductor packaging and testing. They are working globally, which I absolutely like. The stock has been in a rising trend and especially had a boom going up from 30 to almost 45, triggering a pivot up right now in our charts. RSI is not overbought, but it's getting a little higher. I think the stock should go down. I'm especially interested in this stock. Absolutely want to get into it. I think the good levels will be 35, 37. Can almost pray for some red days where I can pick up AKRO, because I believe this will do very well. Our system says that also this stock will double over the next 24 months. Absolutely a place to be. AKRO Technologies, AKRO. So there you have two stocks. You have EVLV, which is Evolve Technologies, and you have AKRO, which is AKRO. Evolve looks like ready to pick now, while AKRO, I think that a good buy will be around $35, $37, currently sitting just under 45. Get it down to 35 and it should be good buy signals from short-term, long-term moving average in a rising trend. You have all the good things working for the stock. Last item on the menu will be the $1,000 challenge, and sorry to say that NIO continued down the week. I should of course changed it with Big Bear and Rigetti, one of them. But at least I told you Big Bear and Rigetti would do good. While I said for NIO, I expect harsh period. But you don't know, that's the thing, you never know exactly. And if there is anything I can learn you 20 minutes out in the podcast, is that most people, they buy high, sell low, because you let emotions run off with you. This game is not written in stone. It's not something you can just do very easily. It takes usually years to be good. You have to have trust in your own decisions. For NIO, being in the $1,000 challenge, I've been very lousy with the stop loss. Normally I have a tight stop loss, but for NIO I said this is a very volatile stock. It can go super fast. Everyone believes NIO should be around $8, currently sitting at $5, meaning huge potential upside. I even put a lot of my personal holdings in to NIO. Currently I was sitting with a very good plus, now I'm sitting with a little less plus, but still doing good, because I believe NIO will do very good. And I don't know exactly when it will trigger. Usually it's around quarter results or if news is picked, pushed, but they got more money. Business is somewhat solid. Car delivery numbers go up and down. Then there is all these things with China. But in NIO, I really believe NIO stays in the $1,000 challenge, which I was hoping to grow to $10,000 before Christmas. Doesn't seem to happen now because 3,527 is far from the $10,000 I was hoping to reach in 2025. Anyway, better than nothing. It was 1,000 in the beginning. So NIO stays in the $1,000 challenge, currently at $5. I think it's a super buy at today's level. Better than EVLV, better than AKRO. At current levels, I think NIO has, in short term, higher potential upwards. But AKRO and EVLV is two stocks which I really believe. We will follow them a little bit, see if it goes as I said. But for the next up to 2 years, these are stocks absolutely showing good signs. That's it. 21 minutes. I hope you will have a perfect Friday. I hope that your trading portfolio will be much greener by the end of the week. And of course, I hope to see you back when I will be back next week. Until then,